Who is a better head coach and why? Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sirianni.
I think a lot of people confuse this one when they think of Kyle Shanahan, like my good friend Rich Madrid. Shout out to Rich.
Shout out Rich.
He's like, Shanahan's a better coach than Sirianni. Sorry, that's my Rich Madrid
That's what he sounds like.
Yeah. I think that's dumb. Shanahan's a better coordinator. Sirianni's not even a coordinator. They both played wide receiver, but Sirianni just decided, hey, I'm going to focus on being a head coach. That guy won a Super Bowl. Yes, his roster is really good, but the Niners had a hell of a roster in 2023. Mm-hmm. They beat the Chiefs. Kyle hasn't. Yes, Sirianni is clearly a better head coach as of right now. Now, Kyle's one of the best offensive coordinators in the game. People need to learn to separate those two things. When you're talking about head coach, managing personalities, playing the right players at the right time, managing the game. Yes, Sirianni's better. And I don't even like Sirianni's personality, but he is. He's better.
Delegating, decision-making. I mean, here's the thing. Here's how I agree with you. I think Sirianni's a better head coach. Here's the test. If Kyle Shanahan were the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, would they have won the Super Bowl last year?
I would say no. I mean, why would we think
I would say no.
Yeah.
I don't think he could work with Jalen Hurts. I don't think he'd want to work with Jalen Hurts. I don't think they would fit. I think he'd try to put his system. One of the cool things about the Eagles is they have a philosophy of what they want to be on offense, and it stays the same no matter who the offensive coordinator. They have 4 offensive coordinators in the last 4 years, and it's always the same offense. If Kyle went there, he would change it because he has to run his scheme. He couldn't really feature Jalen Hurts like that, or he'd get him hurt.
Well, what's Kyle Shanahan's record against the Chiefs? 0-5.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't think you would have won. Not until you can show me that you can actually beat the Chiefs, because you haven't done it yet.
And I think people look at him and they're like, well, he's a better play caller than Nick Sirianni. Sirianni doesn't even call plays.
It's not a play caller.
We're not talking about play calling. We're not talking about coordinating. We're talking about head coach. And I think what a head coach does, what a boss does, it's leadership, it's decision-making, and it's delegating. And as someone who thinks I'm not the best leader, I'm not really a natural boss. My brother is really good at that. He's 12 years older than me. And I think what good leaders do is just delegate most of their work. And what they do is they focus on managing people. And I don't do that well. I want to do everything myself because I trust myself. And I think Kyle's the same way. And that's dangerous as a head coach, because you take on 3-4 jobs. You could delegate that to 3-4 people and they could do that 24/7. You're doing 4 jobs at other people. You know what I mean? Like all of us, you can't do those jobs as well. You can't be as good of a scout. You can't be as good of a general manager. You can't be as good of a head coach as someone like Sirianni, who that's all he freaking thinks about is that one job.
Yeah, he's spreading himself too thin. Yep. Jimmy Ward even talked about how Kyle made the decision on who plays where and who starts on defense. So, like, he's just trying to control everything a little too much, in my opinion. Now, again, Kyle Shanahan, to me, is top 5 offensive coordinators, if not higher than that. But as far as a head coach, I mean, you're 0-5 against the Chiefs. The Eagles beat the Chiefs at least twice in the Super Bowl and also in the season prior to that. So he's beaten Andy Reid and the Chiefs multiple times. He has a Super Bowl trophy. I mean, what's the argument for Kyle being better?
Yeah, I just feel like he wears these 2 hats, play caller and head coach. And when the pressure's on and he has to sort of pick one, he's going to pick play caller. And the Niners are going to have this void of leadership and emotion. Like, say what you want about Sirianni being a lot of Niner fans say he does nothing and he's a clown. Whatever. There's an emotional component to his leadership style. He's engaged and players know it. He's angry. He cares when players get hurt. I mean, Kyle is just so detached. He's literally behind his play sheet, and it doesn't help him as a leader.
What's the argument?
I think, and that's why Robert Saleh coming back is so important, because he's good at that stuff.
What's the argument for Kyle being better? The only argument that I hear is that play calling, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking
I would say, like, if both guys were available on the free agent market, Kyle would get more money. Kyle would be more desired. And that's true, but it's not because it's because of his scheme. It's because of his play calling. He's a very highly paid coordinator, and people want his scheme and people want his offense. But I think people also know that he's not really a head coach in the true sense. He's not really a leader in the true sense. and he needs someone like Robert Saleh to balance him out. And it worked really well with him and D'Amico. Worked really well. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan knew why it worked, because then he went and got Steve Wilkes and Nick Sorensen. But now Saleh's back. It could work.
Yeah, I mean, and if I'm the general manager of a team and I'm trying to hire a head coach, I mean, Kyle's on my short list of coordinators, but neither Sirianni or Shanahan are on my short list of head coaches. That's just, I don't like either one of their head coaching styles or personalities, to be real. So I'm not a huge fan of either one of these guys as head coaches, but he's got the Super Bowl, man. You know, speaks for itself.
PrizePicks is sponsoring the Cohn Zone this year. PrizePicks is the leader in daily fantasy and the best place to win cash while watching sports. And the best part about the app is it's really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few players' stats. I'm a Niners guy, so you know when I'm doing PrizePicks, I'm looking, well, the last couple of years, I'm looking at Deebo Samuel, because I know Deebo Samuel better than Deebo Samuel knows Deebo Samuel. So if it's like drops, I'm taking more. Or if it's like punches thrown towards his long snapper on the sideline during the fourth quarter of a game, the 49ers will go on to win, I'm smashing more because I know the 49ers and I'm a PrizePicks guy. Now, maybe they didn't have those exact plays, but they have so many plays that'll make your head spin. And you can play PrizePicks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Best part about it is the new user offer. PrizePicks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. So win or lose, you'll get $50 just for playing. That sounds like a win to me. Use promo code COHN, COHN, to claim your $50 today. Tell him Grant sent you. What I like about Sirianni is he lets Howie Roseman do his job. He's not trying to take power away or pick players. He also seems to have a vision for what modern offense should be. It's different than the Shanahans. I mean, he embraced sort of more of a college style. He has, I mean, how many NFL head coaches would have said, yeah, man, let's go all in with Jalen Hurts and let's get this college style offense and let's run RPOs a lot. I don't think that, I mean, McVay wouldn't have, Shanahan wouldn't have. I think it's cool that he stuck with it. He brought Kellen Moore over from Dallas. He never ran an offense like that. And he's like, Kellen, you're learning this. This is what we do here. I mean, even the tush push thing, I mean, was that his idea? Who came up with that? I mean, the league's trying to like change the rules because of him. I think he's got a vision for what football how it should be played. And he just won a Super Bowl. I think he's a damn good coach.
I mean, he's a good coach. I'm not a huge fan of him, but he is a good coach. I will say this though, like it's easier to be a good head coach when you have the best roster in the NFL. And clearly last year he had the best roster in the NFL. So a lot of his success can be attributed to Howie Roseman. Again, I'm not a big fan
That's
of
true.
Kyle.
Roseman's more important to that organization than Sirianni, no question.
And so I'm not a big fan of Sirianni or Kyle Shanahan as head coach. I think Kyle's a good offensive coordinator, top 3, top 5. But as far as a head coach, I'm not a big fan of either. But
would Kyle clash with Howie Roseman?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know Howie Roseman enough to answer that well. But I mean,
Kyle clash with Jalen Hurts. I don't know.
What Kyle needs is a Howie Roseman, and what he needs is an owner that's going to say how he's going to take care of this. But would Kyle take a position like that? I don't know.
I wanted to say one more thing about Sirianni. So why I like him, and I have to explain this to Niner fans. Like, again, I still think even though he's not calling plays, he is responsible for the vision and the structure of their offense, as opposed to Dan Campbell. I don't think Dan Campbell has a freaking clue what he wants that offense to look like. His first choice for offensive coordinator was Anthony Lynn, who he had to fire. He just happened to have Ben Johnson on the staff. He inherited Ben Johnson. He could have fired Ben Johnson and decided not to. Promoted Ben Johnson. Turns out he's really freaking good. Now he's gone, and the replacement is a guy named Johnny Morton, who was actually on Harbaugh's staff. He was the pass game coordinator for Harbaugh and the 49ers back when they really weren't that great at passing, but they could run the ball. I think that Dan Campbell is who Niner fans think Sirianni is. Just kind of a ball of emotion without much substance behind it.
So the new offensive coordinator for the Lions is a Greg Roman understudy?
Correct. It's the best they could do.
That's not encouraging for me. We know what kind of offense he wants. He wants to bite people's kneecaps off. I think
that's his vision.
That's his vision. You got to bite the kneecaps. I think Dan Campbell wants to be Harbaugh-esque in his offense, but that's not what Ben Johnson was doing last year. Yes, it was from the trenches standpoints, but they had a lot of gadgetry in their offense, a lot of quick hitters. Not really a power running game, but I think that's more Dan Campbell's philosophy. So maybe it syncs up with this new dude. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Dan Campbell is an intellectual.
No, not saying that Sirianni is, but I think Sirianni is going to be that coach for a long time. I could be wrong. But I'm not sure that Dan Campbell is going to be the Lions coach for a long time because that roster is loaded. And if they take a major step back next year, everyone's going to look at him. And I don't know if he has the answers. I mean, Sirianni was able to pull Kellen Moore and Fangio out of a hat, or maybe it was Howie Roseman. I don't know. Let's see if Dan Campbell can do that if these guys fail.
Dan Campbell brings a lot of passion, which is great, and a lot of energy, which is great. But I think he's going to be heavily reliant on his coordinators, and that's going to determine his success.
Sirianni brings that passion, plus he has a bodyguard who brings even more.
Yeah. Which is
more teams should have a bodyguard for the head coach. I think it's a cool thing.